we're going to do a quick video to show you the feature for creating dependent lists for computers in AllSight. So what I've got up in front of you right now is a spreadsheet that we're going to come back to here in a second. This will be the example for how to structure the data to create these dependent fields. But before we have too deep a look into this, first let's go to the computers page and open up a specific computer record to get an idea of what it is we're trying to do here. So if we go to the Asset tab, for example, you'll notice that there are some fields here for assigning the location of this computer. And if I go into edit mode, we'll see that if I open up the department field, there's a list of departments, there is a list of regions, and locations and buildings and room numbers as well. And I want you to see that when I open up the room number, this is a very long list here, and if you have more locations, more buildings, you're going to have more rooms. And this list of rooms can get very, very long if it isn't restricted based on the options selected in previous drop-downs. So that's the idea here, is to make the list of rooms available dependent on what was selected in the building field, and the list of buildings dependent on what was selected in the location field, and the list of locations based on the selection in the region field. Now, for what it's worth, there are other ways of setting up dependent fields. This was the request that was originally made that led to the implementation of this feature. So if you have other needs, reach out to the support department for more specific instructions for other ways of using dependencies here. For our example, we're just going to work with making region, location, building, and room number dependent. And for that, we're going to have a look at this spreadsheet again. So what you're going to see across the top is that there is a region, location, building, and room number column. And the way the data is structured is that all of the regions are listed here, and you see there's a lot of duplication of the regions, and that's just because you have each row representing, essentially in this case, a room number, where the room, the building, the location, and the region are all populated for each row. So I hope this makes sense. This is the structure you're going to use. Each row is a room number, and then for each room you put the building, the location, and the region. One thing to note is when you import this file, it's going to need to be imported as a CSV. So if you've got this open in Excel, I've got it open here in Numbers, you'll notice that the program is going to tend to want to save it in the native file format. Numbers is going to try to save this as a Numbers file. Excel will try to save it as an XLSX perhaps. You want to export this as a CSV in order to save it. Okay, now I've already got this saved. I'm going to cancel out of this, and we're going to come back to my browser, and under Settings I'm going to go to the Columns tab, and what we're looking for is in this top right corner this ability to browse or drag a CSV file into this location. This feature has been made available in 8.0.0.5. So if you're using a build prior to that, you won't see this until you've upgraded. So that's something else to be aware of. So I'm going to open up my Finder, and I'm going to find the file that I'm looking for, and then I'm going to drag and drop that right into this section here. And that's all there is to it. Once that file is created and you drag and drop it in place, it will update the relevant fields to include the dependencies. So now I'm going to just show you what that looks like. Remember, region was the first column of that spreadsheet. So if I come in here, I see that list of regions, and it's pretty simple. You have to select the region as sort of the first one. And then if I go into location, what we're going to see is there's a structure here. The relevant region is listed in brackets, and then the location is listed next to it. And so you'll see something that looks kind of like that spreadsheet get built out here as we go down the list, down here to building. There's the list of buildings where the location and the region have to be pre-selected in order to get a specific list here. Okay, so that is the building, and then again for the room number, we've got that long list of room numbers, but now we can see that there are dependencies for each one. The other thing to note both about this window as well as the spreadsheet is that there's this option down here to require one of the above values. This means that when you actually go to the field on the Asset tab and you click and view that drop down, that this will require a selection from that drop down as opposed to providing the drop down and making it available, but allowing you to type anything you want in the field as well. This makes that a requirement. So this is a manual setting you can change. You can also toggle that on automatically as a part of the CSV import. And so if we come back to the CSV, you'll notice region does not have an exclamation next to the name, whereas location, building, and room do. It's that exclamation that turns on that feature. So when you do make that import, you actually have to manually refresh the page in order to see the updates to the list icon here just means that there is a list in this field, and the check mark here just means that the option to require a selection from that list has been turned on. All right, so now that we have finished the import, we can go back to the computers page, open up a computer record, head to the Asset tab here, go into edit mode, and when we select a region, we're going to see that the list of options under the location is based upon the region. When we select a location, we're going to see the list of buildings is now based upon the location. And then once again with the room number, it's based on the selection in the building. So a lot shorter lists, and we get the dependencies that we're looking for to make the selection of location, building, and room number based upon the prior field. So that answers all the questions and kind of explains everything we wanted to show you for this video. If you do have any additional questions about other ways to use the tool, or if you run into trouble in using it the way we just described, feel free to reach out to us at support@sassafras.com. Thank you.